now.
All right. It's letting me know it's preparing.
Yep, should be streaming live.
Zippity doo dah, zippity.
All right. I got it. It says we are. So that's awesome.
Yep.
All right.
The live chat. We're good.
Okay. Let me do our intro. We'll get rolling. They have been best friends since childhood, played the same sports, attended the same schools, and now they even teach together. You're listening to DC and DH on the DND Dynamite 80s podcast. So, guys, take it away.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s. I'm DH.
I am DC.
And we're here to take another fantastic look back at what we consider the greatest decade ever, the
You got
80s.
that right, brother.
DC, how's your week been going, brother?
Steady. I'm ready for it to already be over, though.
Yes, I think we're all ready for that spring break.
It's time for our spring break.
Hey, we'll get there. Got some storms moving in tonight, but I think it's all going to be good.
Yeah, it'll be good.
DC, I'm super excited, man. You introduced me to this gentleman's show, and it's something that I like to kind of just, when I'm working or doing something else at night when he's on, I like to have it on and just kind of listen. So without further ado, I'm going to flip it over to you, and let's get the introduction in, and we'll get everything rolling.
Be glad to. We got Mike Minarsky on tonight from We Love the 80s on TikTok. And he is coming from the great state of Connecticut, I believe.
The entertainment
like
capital
I said,
of the world.
I am a fan favorite. I'm on there quite a bit. So I've learned a lot about, a lot. By the way, Mike, did we make the 500 mark?
We did. You mean last night for the American Heart Association?
Yes.
A little mini telethon?
Yes.
We did. Matter of fact, we hit 717. I think it was the final number.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was really good, because one of the things that we do is you can get the music anywhere. But what we're building is a community, and the community really came out, for that. Yourself, I mean, you were kind enough to make a donation as well. So
we were honored to do that.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And sometimes we just go full goose bozo and have fun. But last night was pretty serious stuff.
Absolutely. Mike, first of all, how in the world, man, did you get into doing this stuff?
Yes.
You mean TikTok in general, or?
No, just I know you've got a background in communication, DJing, radio hosting, having a station, all that good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, this is something that pretty much started when I was a teenager. I always, I had this love for music, and it was late 70s, and pretty much I was geared up for the 80s. So, I mean, that was absolutely my favorite decade to be alive.
Right.
I'm telling you, I ended up, I would even on the weekends create my own countdown shows. I mean, I was a geek. I was a complete and utter geek. I had my notebook, and I'm listening to the radio and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And actually,
I get it.
Had a little formula. It was crazy. I DJ'd at a roller skating rink. And then a friend of mine said, "Hey, there's a part-time job at a radio station up the road. You want to see if..."
Yeah.
And I did, and I worked out there on and off for about 4 or 5 years, and then I got married and got out of radio altogether.
Oh wow! Okay.
I did, but I ended up doing a lot of DJ work. So I actually just kind of retired from DJ or portable DJ stuff. I've done over 1,100 weddings.
Oh wow!
And and I always said to myself, when it becomes a job, it was over, and it became a job, that part. So it was over.
I hear you. Who's that sound like, DH?
Yeah,
we've had this
like something we've said.
Yeah,
we started this for fun, and we said if it ever becomes work, we're done.
Yeah, same kind of stuff.
Mike, one of the things I want to ask, because we're kind of transitioning a little bit towards TikTok, but what do you find is the most interesting part of hosting a show on TikTok?
People. It's definitely the people. Like I said, you can get the music anywhere. You can get it YouTube, Spotify, Napster. Is Napster still a thing? I don't even know, but
I think so.
It is. We're building a community.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing I like the most about it. Let me just tell you a quick little reason why. I have a couple of friends that have become very, very dear to my wife and I. They're from Utah, and we met them straight up on here. And now we have just on Facebook, we have a little 4-way chat that we go back and forth and stuff. And they're coming out here in July to go to a concert. We're going to go see Bare Naked Ladies, Delamitri. Yeah, I know the 80s folks going to a 90s show.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, I know. I'm canceled. But they're coming out for that, and that's really, really exciting. And I know they're excited for it, as so am I.
That could be the title of your next show. We love the 80s, but I'm going to see the 90s.
Well, yeah, I mean, I went and saw Air Supply the other night, so I got
seen some footage of that.
Yeah.
Must have been a tremendous show.
It was. We went there and had no expectation. Actually, we had very low expectation because Air Supply, all they did really predominantly were ballads.
Right.
Well, they came out and played everything like a rock anthem.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was spectacular. Melissa looked at me as we walked out and she said, that was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
What about that?
And it was. So
Yeah. Well, we haven't made it to quite that plateau yet. I don't know if it was a business person of theirs or a man in their management or something. Well, guys, because we're doing a North American tour and we're looking for some, publicity to get on. Never got back to me. So I guess DH, I don't know if he's seen your face.
Well,
we didn't have enough numbers. I don't know what the deal was.
What it was, DC.
He never got back in touch with me, speaking of Air Supply.
They heard the stories about all the days with your chick magnet mobile and all from our previous
That's what it was.
And said, no, we're not.
They said, well, we shouldn't get on there and have to talk about love because that guy's got it taken care of.
Well, you got further than I got because we were sitting third row center at the venue. And we sat right next to their agent.
Oh wow!
Yeah, because Russell Hitchcock announced them.
Oh
and
wow!
We're like, oh, he's right there.
Yeah.
We asked them, if we can get an interview with them, and the lady that was with them said, no, thank you very much, and they split.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar for us too.
But that's all right. Like I told DC,
we just moved to the next.
Yeah, and the folks we have on are all very nice and
we met some wonderful people, including yourself.
Like this interview with you tonight. I mean, it's just amazing to get you on the show.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, because I love talking about the 80s. It's one of I graduated in 1984 in high school, and I just think the music in that there were so many different. I don't know if I want to say genres as opposed to styles.
Yes.
You had some funk coming in from the 70s. Kool and the Gang was kind of hot, like right in the beginning of the 80s. Rick James.
Right.
Then you kind of went into an Australian invasion, and then you had kind of like a European English invasion with new wave and punk and that kind of stuff. Well, punk was kind of revitalized from the 70s, but it was just there was so many different tastes. And then towards the end of the 80s, you had alt rock really starting to push, with like bands like Pearl Jam and 9 Inch Nails and that kind of stuff. So
right,
and there's so many things to choose from.
Yeah,
and that was the cool thing about the 80s because we graduated in 86. But you listened to everything. It wasn't just one particular genre or style. So having said that, here's a question from the 80s that I want to know: top 5 hair metal bands from the 80s.
Right. Oh boy. You mean according to me, or is this a quiz?
Just according to you. Just according to you, what would your
your
top 5
expertise
be?
Hair bands? Oh boy. I'm gonna have to go with Tesla. I'm gonna go with Great White.
Good choice. Yep.
Tragic story with them.
Yes.
Hair band. Warrant.
Good one.
Not really a hair band. No, it's Arena Rock. I was gonna say Van Halen, but they're not really a hair band. Rat. I was into Rat.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
I got to go with Kiss. I got to go with Kiss. I mean,
still strong in the 80s. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No question.
Funny story about Rat growing up here in Nashville. I don't know if this was like a circuit they were on, but it was like
Right.
everyone that came to Nashville, Rat was the special guest. It was like Van Halen, special guest Rat. Then the next week it'd be like George Jones
and Rat or whoever.
Yeah. So, they were everywhere.
It was always Rat. Yeah.
So you had a rat and a possum on the same
ticket.
That's awesome.
Exactly.
It was
what a show that would have been.
Yeah. Well, I use the joke a lot at time where the Goo Goo Dolls are going to be touring with Lady Gaga. It's the Goo Goo Gaga tours.
You'd have made a fortune in T-shirt sales.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll see my way out.
Mike, I always like to ask this as well to our 80s guests. Why do you think that decade is sticking around with all these age groups? It doesn't matter what age group it is.
I don't think it's any different, really, than us being in the 80s and a lot of people reveling in the 60s and in the 50s, because there were so many people that were still into the twist and rock around the clock and at the hop and that kind of stuff, especially at dances. So I think we just kind of moved up a generation. I think there were, like I said, a lot of people that were into the doo-wop, and then the Motown scene started hitting just as much as today. I think, I don't know, maybe I think the 80s were a little bit stronger just because of everything that it was a pretty peaceful time. And I'm not a political guy, so I'm not even going to go with politics.
Right.
But we were a pretty strong country back then. We had a lot of strength.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen strength with
happy living. Just happy times, happy living.
Exactly. And I think you can pretty much make that argument for any generation. It's like now, it's like, what are the oldies? 80s and 90s are the oldies right now. When in the 80s, when I was growing up and playing music, oldies were 50s and 60s. So I don't know if it's, if the pop culture has changed, it just moved up a generation.
I think one of the things I always kind of tell is when you start seeing some of your heavier rock now being TV commercials, you're getting old. So.
Yeah, or dying.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's like
You're thinking they're not so far away from age than I am.
No.
Yeah. That's what you start thinking.
Yes.
Like, they're not.
Well, like
very
the
far
guys
away.
from Air Supply, they're 73 and 72.
Wow.
That's like I heard the other day that the Rolling Stones are going to like do some kind of mini tour with another artist, and I was thinking, how?
I guess they're going to roll out there.
I guess, yeah.
Some wheelchairs. I don't know.
Do you know what Keith Richards? This is not even a joke. You know what Keith Richards says before? At the beginning of any performance that they had done, especially in the last 10, 15 years. He goes, "It's great to be here." He goes, "Matter of fact, it's great to be anywhere."
And he means it, I'm sure. Yeah.
How did he outlive Betty White? I don't know.
That's a great point. That's the mystery of all mysteries of the world.
That's strange.
Yes.
So,
go ahead. Dean.
One of the things I always like to ask, and since you've already mentioned the band, DC and I kind of have this running competition: Van Halen versus Motley Crue. So those two bands.
Why didn't I think of Motley Crue? Jeez.
Well, I was kind of hoping that meant you were leaning towards Van Halen and the right side instead of the dark side with DC. But Van Halen or Motley Crue?
Oh, definitely Van Halen. Definitely Van Halen.
It's another one in the right category there, DC.
But the real question is Van Halen with David Lee or Sammy Hagar?
Oh, David Lee.
Absolutely.
David Lee. Yeah. I don't even consider Sammy Hagar Days Van Halen.
No, I don't either.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a couple of good songs and stuff, but David Lee Roth was the guy.
Yes.
The showman.
Absolutely.
Showman for sure.
He was, definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's like you think about it. I mean, any band that really they have a really good lead man.
Yes.
You know, and here's an analogy that has nothing to do with 80s music or anything, but it's like you need somebody out in front to really push your product. I mean, I don't know, if you're a fan of MMA or WWE, right? They're both whatever they are.
Right.
Who's the front man in MMA, at the UFC? Dana White.
Yeah.
Right? He's it. But he's not a fighter, right? WWE, they have all these guys, these characters. That's why I think they've been so successful through the years, because they've built personalities and characters.
Yes.
The MMA fighters, I think, it's whatever, but they haven't really gone as far as, creating stories with these people, which they could, but they don't.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's true. And I mean, as far as a marketing concept, you've got to give it to WWE. I mean, generation after generation, they build these characters that people get attached to and root for. And it's like, wow. I mean, even, I've seen shows where like Ric Flair did his last match here in Nashville. His name, I mean, that thing was like massive amounts of people online subscribing to see that last match.
Sure.
Because of the way he had built his character over the years. So yes, definitely.
Got to see the niche.
Yes.
And isn't that kind of ironic that that's probably what some of these musicians are kind of still hanging on doing too, because it's that name recognition.
Absolutely. And you have, like, we're going to go see, we're going to see Bare Naked Ladies, but we talked about that you
mentioned another one on the air recently.
What's
I
that?
can't remember who you was going to go see.
We're going to go see Foreigner.
That's what it was.
And Loverboy.
That's it. That's who you were talking about the one night. Yeah.
So if you think of Loverboy, what do you think? What's first thing that pops into your head?
Honestly, for me, turn the station.
The what?
No, he said turn the station. I was not a Loverboy fan. I caught them back in 2016, I think.
I was going to say, you went to one of their concerts.
I did.
Yes.
I've seen them a few times.
And enjoyed it thoroughly.
Now, let me say this. Very talented musicians, just never really was my thing, but very talented musicians.
So, same thing with, I'm not a big Bruce Springsteen fan. Not at all. Some people go gaga over him. I just not.
Right.
But when I think of Bruce Springsteen, what do I think of? Okay, this is going to sound weird, but the Born in the USA album cover with the with
the
nothing
handkerchief.
Yeah. Right. So
the old worn out hat and all that. Yeah.
That's what I think of. But the same thing with Mike Reno and Loverboy, the red
leather pants.
Yeah. Which he wears 2X of the same ones now. So but,
at least,
but he still does.
Yeah.
But you are right. I mean, a lot of these bands have those trademarks. I mean, when you think of certain things, like when you think of Van Halen with David Lee Roth, you think of that where he's out there on stage and he's doing his jump in that jump video and he's doing his splits in the air. I mean, you kind of those concepts. Yeah. Eddie Van Halen's guitar. I mean, we would all recognize
solos,
that guitar.
Absolutely. Live for that.
Yeah, and I couldn't get into Van Halen with, his son, and the other folks that, kind of took over. I just couldn't get in there. But to your point about, still remaining a pop culture icon and stuff, then there are acts that come back that you probably haven't thought of in years. Then all of a sudden, and then you probably whatever, like the I forget the ad, but it was a tag team with Whoop, There It Is.
Yes, the Sprinkles.
Yes.
And when first time I saw that ad, I think I sung that ad song like for 3 weeks straight. Sprinkles.
Yeah.
Because
when's the last time you heard of them before that ad?
I hadn't probably thought of them in what 20 years, 30 years.
Of course you wouldn't. No,
But
absolutely.
I bet you thought of Van Halen.
Oh yeah,
Even,
yeah. Well,
you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Some of those iconic bands. So anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to go off at a tangent.
Yeah. Well, I
No.
mean, same thing. You look at AC/DC still out touring. Look at their front man, Brian. I mean, just amazing talent.
Bro,
But they have their gimmick, the guitars
Yeah.
and the front man, and that's what everybody remembers: Angus and Brian.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cheap Trick,
Yes.
3-man band. You know, I mean, you had the drummer who kind of looked weird and had a white shirt and a skinny tie.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
I mean, I always remembered that guy. He was a hell of a drummer. What about Brian Setzer and his
Oh gosh,
whatever.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's all
Oh.
iconic. These are things that you remember, you know. Like
Right.
you could give me a name from the 80s and I'll tell you exactly what I remember from them.
All right, what sticks out to you about Devo?
Oh, the flower pots.
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Easy one.
It
Absolutely.
wasn't the remake of I Can't Get No Satisfaction, you know. Although that was a crossover hit. It's those hats.
Exactly.
And I wanted one.
Mike, I'm gonna give you a hard one here.
All right.
DC in the 80s.
Huh?
DC in the 80s.
What did I look like?
DC?
Yeah,
Me.
what was his memorable thing was his chick magnet car. So always remember
Right.
that.
Right. He constantly makes fun of that. We grew, as the story is here, we're about 23 days apart in age. We grew up on the same street, so we've known each other all our lives, and we still hadn't killed each other. And now we teach together in the same school, so it's kind of a cool story, and we've ran with that with our podcast. And
Well,
you know, he always made fun. You talking about a beautiful car. Now he had an awesome car, but mine was beautiful. It was the Toyota Tercel, the ugliest fat hatchback that you could ever think of. It was a
Powder blue.
1984 model. And you talking about getting just the ribbon over that, over and over from everybody, all my buddies.
I thought you were going to say like
That's-
AMC
That's the
Gremlin.
chick magnet he's talking about.
it was close.
So my first car was a '62 Ford Falcon,
Oh, that's nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
and it was really cool. And it had 2 gears, high and low, and that was it. And the windshield wipers, they worked on a vacuum. So if you were hitting the gas,
Oh, wow.
it would stop. So God forbid you're driving in a downpour somewhere and you have to pull over.
You were in trouble. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely in trouble.
Well, mine, I had the '76 Monte Carlo, and
And it was
that
a
thing
sweet. It was a sweet
jacked
car.
up, and it was chromed,
Souped
so
up
it
and
was
chromed
nice.
out, and it was a sweet one. You missed
So-
that car, I bet, don't you?
I do, but I mean, just cruising in your chick magnet mobile, I just couldn't quite
Stop.
drive it anymore.
Stop. Enough of that.
In 87, I bought, and I never will live this down from my mother. I bought a this is an 87. I bought a 78 Dodge van, right? It had a side door, right?
Yeah.
And it literally it was kind of tricked out in the back a little inside.
Yep.
Where it had a little bed and a little platform.
Did you have the carpet?
Yes. Yeah. So my mother gave it a specific name, probably not appropriate for this podcast. But she called it a truck, and what rhymes with truck?
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah, it was that word and then truck. And then she told all my friends that.
There you go. Now that's got to
And
be
that was-
a lot better story than mine.
Yes,
And that was the
thought
best thing
about
from my teenage love life ever. Because they figured if your mom says it's okay, well,
Yeah, hey.
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, it'd be
It's
okay.
mom approved.
God bless her.
Oh man.
Oh,
What-
jeez.
What's your I'm gonna put you on the spot here. What's your prediction about will this 80s thing just keep on keeping on? Do you think? What's your guess?
In I guess in what way? What way? Because there's
I don't
What context?
necessarily mean like because I think some of that's already kind of fading away is like the the old TV shows and movies? I'm talking about the music itself.
It'll never go away.
Okay.
But neither will the 50s and the 60s.
Right. That's true. That's true.
You know, I think when we hit 2035, 2038, you know, people are going to be saying, "Oh, you remember back, 1999?" You know, that kind of stuff.
Right. Right.
It's just going to pop. It's just going to keep popping generations, but the music will still be there. And honestly, in 2035, if I'm not paused up, I'm going to be at the nursing home and/or senior center rocking out Def Leppard.
Still listening. Absolutely.
Can you imagine the nursing homes in 10 years, 15 years from now? You know, it's not going to be Mantovani. It's not going to be Harry, Belafonte.
Yeah.
No.
We'll be blasting Ozzy.
It's going to be Iron Maiden.
Yeah. There you go.
Led Zeppelin.
We do have a
and you know what happened? Then somebody will say, "Can you tell them not to play that old stuff?"
Can they turn it down?
And we're going to crank it up even louder.
Grandpa's rocking out.
We do have a comment on the chat line here from David Smith about going back on our talk about bands aging a little bit. He said Motley just needs to stop touring and recording. I think it's about time.
Motley Crue?
Yeah.
Haven't they just started a big tour with who am I thinking? Def Leppard.
I think there is a combination
Motley Crue did?
Yes. They've gotten on like TikTok and Instagram and all this where they get this. They flip the coin. They're all together like in this room and they flip a coin to decide who's going to pay to get the big plane wrapped. Like whose name goes first. And I think Def Leppard won. So it's like Def Leppard Crew or something on the side of the plane.
That happened with me at one concert with Kansas and Heart. Kansas and Heart, that happened. So, you remember Vince Neil?
Yes. Saw
him about a year ago.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Yes. As I say to a lot of folks, most of us from the '80s have expanded our horizons some now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and continue to.
I don't think I'll fit into my Eddie Murphy pants that I used to wear, parachute pants back.
Please don't bring those suckers out. You might split the back of your members only jacket too.
Could it be a breeze?
No friction, please. No friction in those pants.
No, let's start a forest fire right now.
You know what's coming back? There are two things that are coming back right now.
Yeah.
Roller skating with some of the younger generation.
Yes.
And vinyl.
Yes. I'll tell you one other thing. You can
go into a lot of chain stores right now and you could sell turntables, the cheap Crosley ones or whatever.
Yeah. We've been throwing the idea around. I'm trying to kind of look at followers on TikTok or Instagram or whatever that are vinyl collectors of the 80s and try to get one of those guests on. You're right.
There's one guy I follow, and he does the 45 of the day.
Okay.
And he's pretty interesting, and I don't know why his account hasn't grown like it. I think it should, because it's really informational, and he has the 45 right there, and he gives a little bit of history of it and plays a clip of it.
Wow.
He's really good. So give him a look.
Okay.
45, 40. I'll find him and I'll tag you on him too.
Okay. Perfect.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, speaking of this TikTok stuff, because, we've got a few days on us, DH and I. So when we decided to go that platform, real recently,
last
2 weeks, whatever it's been. And I'm like, okay, I try to get on there whenever I got some free time at night and stuff to study it and see what. I can't believe. Now, Mike, you might help me out with this. I kid you not. I told him, I seen a guy, he's asleep with his remote, okay, like his gaming system remote.
Yeah.
And he's got hundreds of followers.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to
You
do
mean
live.
in the live where he's sleeping in the live, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's things like that. Oh, I think I'll put on my eyeshadow.
Yeah.
Hundreds of likes.
It's just amazing.
And then here I am trying to tell all, promote us and hey, come over and have fun with the 80s with us and enjoy what our product is.
DC,
and I can't get anybody to look.
Well, DC,
but there's a big difference.
Yes.
There's a big difference between what I'm doing, what you're doing, the 45 of the day guy, is you guys are connecting with people. These people that are going sleeping, on their live for whatever, it's gimmicky and they're not connecting with anybody. It's far and few between. These people are going to come back. Okay. What are they going to do? See something different?
Right.
He's sleeping on his side tonight. Quick, tune in.
Yeah. It's a sideshow.
Yeah.
It's absolutely a sideshow.
Yeah.
And I don't see the appeal of it. I'm 57. I could give a crap. I don't want to see that stuff.
No.
So you guys are connecting with people, with entertaining, content and just the way I've seen you, put out a couple of videos. You talk to people, not at people, and they think and people like that and they'll react to that. So I think that's the big difference. I would rather have 15 people in my live that are engaging and talking, and I can interact with them.
Yeah, that makes me feel
200 people watching me sleep.
Well, DC, you also said another key point. You're putting out the video so people are seeing our faces. So that's probably not.
That may be that may be part of the problem too. But here's the thing. I don't understand this stuff about the roses, the bears, when they split screen you, and it's like a competition. I have no clue what. Enlighten me on what that's all about.
Okay, so those are battles.
Okay.
And what it is you can, when you go live, you have to have over 1,000 followers to do this or whatever. And then you can look at hosts. If you already went live, you can look at hosts down at the bottom left, and then you can choose to have them join in on your live with you. So now you have two people, one on each side of the screen.
Are they hearing you? I guess they're hearing you, right?
Yeah, they are. You can talk to them, you can interact with them.
Okay.
But that generally doesn't happen. What's happening is each person is muting each other, and like me, I have to mute the other folks, and the reason why is because I'm playing music.
Yeah.
I can't have somebody on the other side going, "Hey, tap the screen, yeah. Just going by." You can't do that.
Yeah.
So, but then to your question, what are the roses and the bears and stuff like that? Those are live gifts that your fans, your followers will go ahead and give you because they appreciate what you do.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So it's their way of supporting you in what you're doing. Okay. So those are actually worth cash. So like the bear, I think, are you talking about the red one, the rose bear that has come out lately?
Yeah.
All right. So that costs 214 virtual coins. If you got one of those, you actually get 50% of that value. So it's like $1.12 to you. There have been, I tell people to tap the screen. I hate to lose. I hate to lose. And I'm not even talking just TikTok bottles. I'm talking about anything. I can't stand losing. It's a really bad personality trait, but I can't. I'm so competitive.
Yeah.
But I don't tell people, I don't say, "Hey, drop me coins, do this, give me, I don't. Some people do.
Oh, they wear you out on it.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, you have the young females, with the thirst trap, right? And literally, they'll be sitting there going, I just need a uni. I need a uni universe. So they're literally asking somebody to buy something that's $350.
Wow.
Shoot. I have a very good community. I have some incredibly generous people that come in, and they come and they go. I don't sit there and ask them. I don't ask for it.
Yeah.
But it's cool, and it's their way of showing how they they appreciate what you do.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So you guys, have you gotten the okay to do subscriptions yet?
No.
I don't
Okay,
think
so
we're quite there.
Okay, so there'll be at a point where
I worked our tail off to get to over the 1,000 mark here recently.
Yeah, I could see you guys doing well with subscriptions. Seriously,
is that the little yellow star looking thing that's up
Yeah.
in the top? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, those are the ones that you see people going to say, subscribe to me, click the star. God, I'm even doing the movements in my sleep now. Look at this, dude.
Yeah, you know where they're at, located.
Yeah. So I hope I answered that okay as far as TikTok is concerned. But all of the platforms are getting into, gifting monetization. It's not just them. It's Facebook that's doing them now with stars, and of course YouTube. And there's going to be a battle between YouTube and TikTok as far as who's going to be
that
monetization.
Yes.
Because TikTok's really coming up, and YouTube doesn't like that. Google doesn't like to lose any more than I do.
Gotcha.
Well, we appreciate all of that insight and information.
Yeah.
I want to turn us back to the 80s for a minute. I'm going to finish my last 80s question of the night. So I've asked the top 5 hair metal. Now I'm going to ask the top 5 80s bands, solo artists, regardless of the genre.
Solo?
Either bands or solo.
Band or solo.
Regardless of the genre.
Boy, that really opens it up. Thanks. I gotta go Hall & Oates.
Yes.
Absolutely Hall & Oates. I gotta. Oh man, you guys got me on this one because there's so and I get this question almost every night. Who's your favorite this? Who's your favorite that?
Right.
And I can never really. I'm not good at answering it. So definitely Hall & Oates. That's one of them because there's so many. I need something to spur my memory here for a minute. I'm not going to say Michael Jackson.
Would Madonna be on your list?
No.
Why not?
No, she would not at all.
I tell you one that makes my list that some people just kind of look at me is it's either John Mellencamp, John Cougar Mellencamp, or John Cougar.
It's the same guy, ain't it? No.
Yeah, it's the same guy. Just depending on the album.
I wonder if that. Speaking of gimmick stuff, there you go.
You talking about John Mellencamp?
Yeah.
Or Cougar, whoever, whichever. Yeah.
Did you know Jack and Diane, that song in that video, the song and the video have nothing to do with one another?
Oh, I did not know that.
I did not. I'm trying to remember the video now.
Remember?
Well, it's a little video about Jack and Diane, and they have John Cougar with the blonde-haired girl, kind of like
the they're roaming around their hometown and stuff,
Yeah. I mean, the rumor circulated for years that that was him and his wife, through high school. It is not. The song is actually about an interracial relationship in the South.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea.
I did not know.
That's what it's actually about.
Wow. Learned something new.
Jack going to be a football star, and they couldn't.
That's a great point because that wouldn't kind of match him. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what the show actually is about.
Boys and girls, listen carefully and look at the lyrics.
Yes.
Good life lesson there. That makes perfect sense when you said that.
But even then, they're very cryptic. But Total Eclipse of the Heart, you know what that's about? It's a vampire love song.
Vampire love song. Wow.
Wow.
Okay.
I know. I never really thought about
I
it.
hadn't either.
Love Shack. You know what that's about?
I got a guess.
Yeah, it's about a little tin house. That's it. Nothing special.
Yeah.
Oh. I guess little pink houses are about little, yeah.
Mike, I thought you was going to say Love Shack was about your van.
It could have been.
Yes.
I got to go with Prince.
Prince, yes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
See, I'm looking at a bunch right now, so it's kind of spurring me a little bit. And I think this was just me, but I was very much into Tears for Fears.
That's a good, yeah.
I think if INXS had a longer career and Michael Hutchence was still with us today, I think you'd be able to say that they were one of the greatest.
Yes.
I actually had a silly little story. I have a friend who comes in and, because we do a morning show, and she's let's just say she's a politician. Okay, she's a senator, and she comes in. She told me that during college she went out with Michael Hutchence.
Oh wow!
They went out on a couple of dates, and he would come back into Connecticut, and they'd go out. Then I guess they went out like 3 times, and she could say is it was well worth it.
Cool story.
Let's see. I got to go with the Police.
Yep. The Stinger.
Yep.
Yeah. I have to say David Bowie. I don't want to, but I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hall & Oates though is my favorite though.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I used to really like to listen to Hall & Oates, but I hadn't thought about those in years until you just mentioned them. I hadn't thought about those two guys in forever.
Yeah, I had this thing when I was growing up through about last year. I mean, we're talking in like 40-year span. I had opportunities to see Hall & Oates in concert, and probably 3 or 4 times. And a couple times I actually had tickets in my hand, but I couldn't go to the show due to one thing happening or other. Mm-hmm. So then I would tell everybody, and I really believe this, that if I ever saw Hall & Oates live in concert, that I would be dead in 48 hours because that was just the way that it is. Well, we went and saw Hall & Oates. I locked myself down for 48 hours. I know it's stupid, but I did because
you didn't want to jinx it. Yeah.
I said it so many times I believed it.
Watching the clock. It's only 47 hours and 59 minutes.
Right. 47 and 30 minutes.
Came out 1 minute too. We got hit by a truck.
Yes. He was 15 seconds short.
Oh, man.
Instead, I came out and went, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you did. We're glad.
Me too. Me too.
All right.
Mike, if you'll kind of share with everybody where they can find you and kind of follow you at and get in touch with you.
Yeah,
it's my house. It's not hard to
It's your house. Come on in.
Come down to the basement.
Meet me in right.
Got enough room for all of us. We'll bring a whole bunch of people over.
The biggest place to find me, the biggest following that we have is on TikTok, which is we_love_the_80s, and 80s is spelled out EIGHTIES. We do live broadcasts every single night. Matter of fact, when I'm done with you fine gentlemen here, I'll take a 15-minute break or so, then I'll go on live, and do that for a couple hours.
And I will be following and listening.
Do you know how this started? Because my wife has to go to bed.
Yeah.
And so she can never say to me ever, well, you do that stupid show and you don't spend any time with me. She gets up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes.
So it's like,
yes.
say nothing.
Hey, 35 years of marriage, I know the routine.
Yes, dear. Those are the two most popular words in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, dear.
Yeah.
And I was wrong.
Yes. You're a good man. You're a good man. We have a page on Facebook. We love the 80s. I mean, I don't really keep up with that one as much as I do the TikTok one, because the TikTok one is just it's fun. It happened by mistake. It really wasn't even supposed to happen. And I mean that truthfully. It shouldn't have happened. And it's just that's the best place. And we have a Discord now as well, because going back to what I said at the beginning, we're building a community more so, because hey, if you want to hear Hall & Oates, you can hear it anywhere. But with the Discord, people can go and they can talk every day, all day if they want to. And it's a slow growth thing, but it's building a community, which I'm enjoying doing.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
And again, we love the 80s as well.
And we can catch you on Instagram as well.
Yes.
Yep. Actually, I'm there more so on my radio station page. We're a media company, and we do a lot of sports streaming.
Yep.
For local youth leagues and high schools and that kind of stuff.
That's cool.
It's SNSN Radio. It just stands for the Streaming News and Sports Network.
Awesome. Mike, can you stick there just for a couple of brief seconds here as we close it out?
Yeah.
With our sponsors. Go ahead, DH. Get your spill in.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we close it out, I'm going to go ahead and finish off as I always do. First off, Mike would like to thank you for joining our show. We really appreciate it. Enjoyed having you on tonight. Come back again. You're welcome anytime. Folks, as I always end off, it doesn't cost anything extra to be kind, so always choose to be kind to each other. DC, Amen. Over to you, brother. Take us out.
Amen, brother. And as DC always is telling you, keep playing them 80s, right? All right, here's our sponsors. We would like to thank our sponsors, Hudson's Flags and More, veteran owned and operated, the Nesting Project of Smyrna, Tennessee, and our newest sponsor, PJG Marketing. You can find all these great folks online. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
Yes. And folks, remember, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Radio Republic, Breaker Radio, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok now, and on the website, all of it, DND Dynamite 80s.
Yeah.
So give us a like, give us a share, give us a shout out. Mike, thank you again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Folks, till next week, be kind.
Speaking of next week, let me give that shout out.
Yes.
Special show, because we got to work on Wednesday night. Isn't that right? We got our freshman orientation night.
Yes.
I appreciate that. By the way, Mike, he's one of my administrators.
What's that now?
I said, he's actually one of my administrators.
What do you mean?
At my school, one of our assistant principals.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. So are you the principal?
I teach, and he's one of the administrators.
Ah.
So
well, now.
There you go. So I appreciate you making me work on Wednesday night next week.
Hey, not a problem at all.
What do you teach?
I teach environmental science.
Okay.
And
Freshmen, and they're going on daycare age.
Yes. Oh, they're great kids. Before I became an admin this year, I actually taught computer science, computer systems, and virtual reality curriculums.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was incredible kids at the school. They do an incredible job.
Yeah, I'm joking around. We got great kids. Next week will be Thursday night, since we got to work Wednesday night. I'll be on Thursday. I think I think you start the soccer season. You're a busy man in the
soccer season.
No admin
yes.
for me.
I'll be at the soccer game.
Yeah, so I'll go solo, and it's, speaking of TikTok, she's a TikTok star herself, Jordan Rumsey, young lady. You know her? There you go.
I'm the 80s.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! And this, I can't wait to get her story. It's going to be an amazing interview. But we got her next week. So
and DC, we also have a special coming up Saturday morning, correct?
We do. Yeah. Let me mention that one too, real quick. We have the rated #1 top Madonna tribute person in the UK. So we're excited about catching up with her. It'll be wee hours for us. There's 6 hours
Yes.
difference. So we're going to catch her before she does a show in the late evening there. So we got to get up early and have it be on at 7 a.m., man.
Yep. Mike,
So,
thank you
looking forward
again
to
for
that.
joining us. We really appreciate it.
Mike,
Best of luck in
I'll be
everything. all your
typing
endeavors.
in with you, brother.
Yes.
I
Enjoy
appreciate
your
you guys
stuff.
for inviting me. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, man.